Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode from the Azure Happy Hour series. My name is Rashmita, and I am the event planner for Microsoft Reactor India. I'm here today joined by our very own host, Reshmi, and of course, our special guest speaker, Dixit. But before we start the session, I would request you all to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat section is open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. Our speaker will answer all your questions during the session, so please feel free to drop all your questions in the chat section. With this, thank you all once again for joining us today, and let me bring in Reshmi into the stream to begin the session. Hi, Reshmi.
Hey Rashmita, good evening. Thanks for having me once again.
Good evening. Always pleasure. Over to you now. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So let me just quickly give a quick introduction to everyone who is there in this call. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon from whichever time zone you are. And thank you for making happy hours a success on and on. So today we have the special content on AI Studio, AI being the buzzword. Everyone wants to make sure that they are on top of it. And we are giving you an opportunity to learn first front from someone who is really keen on not only the knowledge of it but also on going deeper. So please welcome with me Dixit Arora on our call today to join us and help us on everything that we can learn about AI students. So Dixit, can we please have you? Yeah. Hi Dixit, how are you?
Hey Rashmi, thank you. Thank you for having me. All good, all good. And good evening to everyone.
Thank you so much once again for joining us. I know it has been a great journey with everything that has happened on AI Studio. So, before we start the session, right, maybe if you can give a quick introduction of who you are, what you do, and what we're going to cover on like over the top aspect for the participants and viewers, I think that would be a great start.
Sure, sure. Thank you, thank you. And once again, good evening to everyone. Hi everyone. My name is Dixit Arora. Been in Microsoft from the last close to 9 years. Been into different roles, and today we are going to cover the fundamental or the introduction to the Azure OpenAI services. And we have couple of sessions planned on this particular series. So I would request that this is the foundation that we are going to build, and in the upcoming sessions, in the upcoming two sessions, we are going deep with the demos. Obviously, we will be showing demo in this also, but in the further two sessions, we are going deep into deploying the models and deploying the OpenAI applications on the Kubernetes. So to form a base for those two sessions, today we are going to discuss the fundamentals and the foundation part of the Azure OpenAI service.
That is a great introduction, Dikshit, and thank you so much once again for giving that introduction. And to everyone who probably missed that point out, I'm going to highlight once again. Dikshit has joined us for a three-part series. So today is going to be the first round, a 101 for what exactly is OpenAI Studio, and maybe you will be seeing things where there is demo which Dikshit is leading. But in the next two sessions, we will be providing you more content which will not only enable you for hands-on, but also enable you to try it out and experiment in your own projects, right? So really happy to have you again, Dikshit. So I think we are all geared up. Maybe we can start off if you're ready.
Sure,
Awesome. I have brought up your screen, so I think we can start whenever you're ready.
great, sure. So with the starting, this is the content that we are going to drive in this particular track is drive from this particular learn live session. So everybody who has joined this particular sessions can probably look at this particular learn live, and you will be able to go through and take a look at what all things we have covered and we are going to cover. And this will probably give you the brief that we are going to go uh, regarding the topics and the fundamentals with respect to the Azure OpenAI service that we are going to go through. Moving on, what are the objectives that we have on the learnings that we are going to cover? First of all, we will discuss what is how the evolution happens from the AI to the OpenAI, and then the partnership with the OpenAI with the Microsoft, and then to the service Azure OpenAI. What are the benefits of Azure OpenAI? What are the use cases? What are the different models that we are having? What are the capabilities of Azure OpenAI? And what all things, as a developer, as a solution architect, or as a business users, you will be able to do it. And on top of that, the couple of use cases which are already live, and obviously you will have those links, and the couple of demos from the portal perspective and from the Visual Studio Code uh, uh, editor perspective, that you will be able to do it. Moving on. So first of all, um, eventually, before having the generative AI or the open AI coming into the picture, we already have the machine learning, the artificial intelligence, and the deep learning concepts already existing in the market. And everybody, the customer, the business users, already are taking uh, the the services of these three existing technologies that we having, and they are building applications. Now the fundamental question is that what all, or the basic difference, or how the evolution of generative AI happens. So first of all, when we say artificial intelligence, basically it is the service, or it is the technology that will imitate the human behavior, so that we will be able to do the work effectively, and increase the productivity that we are doing. Then comes the machine learning. So for example, it obviously it is a subset of AI services that we are having, and we will be able to feed data, so that we can able to predict based on whatever data we are feeding to the subset of data, which is called models. So to the model part, we will feed data, and we will train that particular model, so that it will help the existing task to do the predictions and the accuracies in a better way. Then come the deep learning part. Again, it's a part of, or the combinations of AI and the machine learnings that we have already have. And for driving the complex use cases, the deep learning things come into the picture. So in comparison to the machine learning, or in comparison to the deep learning at very high level, in the case of deep learning, we can have multiple inputs, and obviously we can have multiple outputs. So uh, the later step will take the input from the preceding steps, and so on. So again, it again, uh, going to the fundamental aspect, that the amount of data, or the amount of information that we are passing to the model, it keep on improving the task at hand, and will provide better efficiency and better productivity in everyday terms, what we are trying to do. Now comes the part of generative AI. So with the help of generative AI, uh, everybody, when we say everybody, developers, business analysts, anybody will able to utilize the models, which will help you to create codes, which will help you to create images, which will help you to edit those images, and which will help you to have the text from the content that you are providing as an input. So this is how, at a very high level, we came from, or we evolved from artificial intelligence, from the machine learning, from the deep learning, then to the generative AI. Moving.
Dixit, can I ask a question over here on this slide?
Sure, sure,
So I'm
please.
just intrigued. Like we have seen an evolution over the past 5, 6 decades, and we know that there's so much of learning that we could be applying to our day-to-day coding experiences, right? I still feel that a lot of people are stuck somewhere, still implementing things around big data, ML, rather than evolving into deep learning, generative AI. So is there a reason, or would you suggest there are things because of which people are still wanting to evolve slowly? Maybe they still have to use machine learning in their day to day, or are we saying that deep learning and generative AI will completely replace machine learning in the future?
No, these no, first of all, thanks Rashmi for having this particular question. It is really important that you have asked. So it is not that the generative AI or let's say the OpenAI or the Azure OpenAI will replace everything that exists today. So it is the one step on the top of what we have already have. So whenever we have the when we are going to build the complete solutions, it is always the combination of existing AI service plus the generative AI services that we have. So first of all, thanks for asking. But yes, the uh, uh, it will be the combination of existing services plus the generative AI services. It will not going to replace the existing one that we already have.
Understood, understood. Yeah, thanks for clarifying it. I just want to make sure everyone is following the same track. Back to you, yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Moving on. Again, what we have discussed that what is generative AI. So as we discussed that generative AI will help us to come up with the content based on the input that we have given, and it will help to come up with the content, to come up with the images, and to come up with the code. And before that, uh, so obviously how this particular thing is come into the picture. The OpenAI will have developed some models, or let's say the applications uh, based on the models, by which you will be able to uh, call that particular models by the REST API calls or by certain SDK, so that you will be able to leverage those models by already uh, uh, pre-trained models by leveraging their output. So when we say uh, models, so model is nothing but you can say a, a big collection of data which we have given uh, and which we have trained by the machine learning, and on the basis of that we have developed couple of models. So there is a partnership between the OpenAI and the Microsoft, and initially the OpenAI has developed those models, and then Microsoft partnership with those partnership with OpenAI, so that those models, you will be able to run those models, and you will be able to call those models by the REST API or by certain SDK in your applications. Now coming to the part that uh, what is different between the OpenAI and what is there in the Azure OpenAI. So as we discussed that Microsoft has partnered with OpenAI to deliver on couple of goals. The most important one is that uh, whatever models we have as a part of OpenAI, you can able to deploy those models on the Azure infrastructures by keeping the point that all whatever model or whatever data that you are going to deploy on the Azure infrastructures will be secured one, and all the compliances and all the availability will be provided to you at any cost. So uh, uh, the fundamental part and the most important part while playing around with the AI service, I can say with any AI service, is the security part. Because you can develop anything on the top of data. It is most important that whatever data or whatever data that you are passing as an input to train that particular model, that particular piece of data, that particular piece of model will be secured enough, and it will not cause you can say any alterations to the user data. So the privacy part, the security parts will be taken care at the utmost uh, level in the Microsoft Azure infrastructure. And then obviously we have we when we partner with the OpenAI, and we think about that all these capabilities uh, will not only be at the Azure AI services that we have. We are planning to cater these capabilities across all the Microsoft offerings. And I hope uh, you must have seen those co-pilots announcements and other announcements that we are doing day by day. Even the security co-pilots, the Windows co-pilots, so that all the capabilities that we have, it is not only limited to the AI services, but across the product and services that we have as a part of Microsoft offering. So, the third one that we have is that obviously the public models that we have in the case of OpenAI will be available to every person in this planet with the offerings from the Microsoft side. Before going to this particular slide, any questions from anybody?
Yeah, good segue. I actually wanted to just interrupt saying we do have some good amount of questions. So I'll start off with the first one. It is by Valerie Sorokin. I think it was a couple slides back when you were talking about OpenAI plus Microsoft. So the question Valerie is asking is, Hi Dixit, when we say model, it is the model of what? What exactly are we meaning by the model?
So model is nothing. For example, let's say you have a I'm just taking the example. Let's say I have a code repository of certain images. Let's say across the world, I will collect those billions or trillions of images, and on the basis of those images I will create some application. I'm just trying to say in a very simple term so that everybody can understand. So that collection of things, so that particular now let's say you on that particular billions or trillions of images, you want to put some algorithm. So algorithm plus data feeding into something is called the model. I hope I answer your question. If not, please let me know.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dikshit. And Valerie, please feel free to use the chat if you want more clarifications. We also got another question from Taha Dohadwala. They mentioned when you refer to OpenAI, is it basically just ChatGPT?
No, it's so chat GPT is only the one of the application which has been developed by the OpenAI. And when we say OpenAI, so basically let me take a step back. So OpenAI is a company which has developed several models. Now let's say uh, no, let me explain models here only. So OpenAI is a company which has developed several models. So if you see in this particular pictorial representations, we have mentioned couple of models. The couple of models is GPT 3.5, GPT 4, Codex, Delhi 2, Chat GPT. So all those are the models which is developed by OpenAI company. Now Chat GPT is one of the application which is developed on the basis of these models. So Chat GPT under the hood is using GPT 3.5 model. In a similar way, OpenAI has developed many applications by and under the hood. Each application may be a combination of two or three models, maybe only one model, or maybe a combination of many more models. So Chat GPT is the application under which the GPT 3.5 is serving the backend by the model GPT 3.5 and the more.
That's a great explanation, Dikshit. Taha, please feel free to ask follow-up questions. It looks like it was explained pretty much in detail, but if you would like us to go deeper, I think that would be a good example. And Valerie, I hope the reference of model in this answer also helped in putting the two and two together for you. So I think we're good over there. We did get a compliment from Ameya saying it's an excellent presentation. So that's a great start, Dikshit. I think people are already enjoying the presentation and keen to learn more from this. So I think we can already start diving deeper.
Thank you so much. So let's go further. So before now, now at this particular point we have discussed what is OpenAI, how Microsoft partners with OpenAI, what are the models that we have, and why Microsoft has chosen to partnership with OpenAI and come with a service which is called Azure OpenAI Service. So these four or five points we have discussed till now. So what are the benefits uh, of over I will call it as a public OpenAI in comparison to the Azure OpenAI benefits. So what are the benefits of using Azure OpenAI Azure OpenAI over the public OpenAI models that we have? So obviously, with the use of Azure OpenAI service, you will have the capability of using the combination of existing AI services that we have, in addition to the Azure OpenAI service, to make the enterprise level grid applications. Now, as we discussed before, one of the most important thing in the case of every service that we have in Azure, that security is at the topmost priority for us. So how we are making sure that whatever service you are deploying in the case of Azure, uh, we are making sure that security is at the top, that we are providing certain features as a part of uh, manage offering. When we say manage offering, for example, in the portal itself, so whatever we are going to discuss in this particular slide, we will also show it in the portal in a couple of minutes. So so for example, if you want to have the certain access, you are trying to provide limited access um, to the service that you have deployed, so you can make use of role based access, that is called RBAC in Azure. We will have we do have features of private networking. So when we say private networking, for example, uh, I have a uh, let's say I'm making integrations of the front end and the back end, and I'm trying to make sure that whatever communication I'm going to make from the front end to the back end will go over the private network. It will not go over the internet. It will not go over uh, the call will not go by the public internet. The call will only go by the private network of the Microsoft. By that particular terminology, the private networking will play the vital role. So by leveraging the private networking part, you are quite sure that whatever call you are making from the front end part to the back end uh, DB applications or backend integration services, all those calls are not going over the public internet. All those calls are going over the private network. Then obviously we will have the regional availability. Uh, when we say regional availability, we have uh, uh, many data centers across the globe. So we are making sure that whatever service we are launching as a part of GA, all those services will be available in every part of the world. Uh, Responsible AI content filtering. So obviously, so whatever data that we are feeding uh, to train the models, it should be fair. It should not be biased to any particular uh, object or any particular thing. Uh, then we have the encryptions. So for example, when you uh, create the Azure OpenAI service, you also have the manage key, so that you will be able to uh, manage the security aspect security aspect in a better way. Then we have the advanced identity manage integrations the Azure AD part. Monitoring and protections, again, obviously the most important part when you are running your applications in the production environment is that eventually, if something goes wrong, if something goes toss for a while, what are the tools and what are the reporting that is available to the developer or to the uh, business side of the people, that what all things you can look at it, and what all step you can do to resolve that particular issue if that particular issue arises. And then again, compliant with the various standards, HIPAA, ISO, SOC, CSS star, all those things. Any questions or any doubts for this particular slide?
I think we're good right now, Dixit, and this is a pretty loaded slide, but to give a quick TLDR to everyone, the whole partnership of Microsoft and OpenAI has empowered making OpenAI experience more secure and get the benefits of what you have in Azure. And that is what we're trying to do in the whole presentation. So, folks, please keep dropping your questions in the chat. We will keep picking them up. But right now, I think we're good, Dixit. We can definitely go forward, and I'll bring the questions as and when they come.
Sure. So again, as we discussed that there are a couple of models as a part of Azure OpenAI services. The various models that we have as of now is uh, GPT, Codex, delay. So basically, when we talked about models, so it will automate the for example, delay it will help you to create images, to edit those images, and even if there is any variations you want to do it as a part of created images, you will be able to do it as a part of codex model. You will be able to generate code. So as I so there is always, you can say, uh, a pain point for the I can say a new developer when they are starting new to the IT, and that is that I don't know how to write code. I'm not good at Python, I'm not good at .NET, I'm not good at this particular language. So now you don't need to remember or learn everything at heart. You can probably, by the help of, when we say codex models. So if you heard about GitHub Copilot, we will take a look in a while. If you heard about the GitHub Copilot, it will help you that you can provide the description that I need a function in this particular language, and it will help you to write the code automatically. So from anybody who is starting their career fresh, or probably anybody at any stage from the dev perspective, uh, the GitHub Copilot, the Codex model will help you to come up with the code samples that you're looking in a day-to-day work, every day that you're doing. On the case of GPT, it will help you to summarize the text. It will help you to, so basically it will take inputs from the users, and it will process that particular thing as a part of natural language processing, and give that particular output in a human readable format. So these are the, you can say, three or four models that we have as a part of Azure OpenAI service offering. So uh, this particular slide talks about that as a part of Azure OpenAI service, as we discussed at the starting of the session, and in between that, it is not the standalone service that will replace everything that is already existed. So when we are building or deploying the complete solution, so it will always come in combination with the existing services or the existing technologies that we have. And on the Microsoft side, what we are trying to achieve, that we are trying to give flavor to all the products that we have, whether it is on the platform side, whether it is based on the scenario based services, or whether it is based on the customizable AI models that we have. So you will slowly, you will be able to see that, uh, with the each and every day passing by, we are trying to improve our products that is already there, and all the services which are coming in the future, by the combination of OpenAI services that we have. uh, Again, this particular, right, it's only showing the thing that you can probably, it is the, you can do so many things, literally so many things, without just writing a single line of code. And just probably at the click of everything, you will be able to achieve so many things which is not possible before coming uh, the generative AI thing into the picture. So uh, we discuss about the models. So these are the Azure OpenAI, you can say, uh, some of the capabilities and some of the use cases that we are going to discuss. So for example, content and content generation. uh, in this particular, uh, so for example, it will make use of uh, the the GPT models that we have. So if you want to summarize the anything which is quite heavy, and you want the abstraction or the summarization of that particular content, you will be able to do it. If you want to uh, write a content, a paragraph, or an email, anything which has come to your mind, a marketing campaign, a single line, a tagline, anything which is coming to your mind, those things can be done by the content generations capabilities and the summarization capabilities that we have. And for this particular part, we also going to discuss in the coming slide regarding the call center use case that we have explicitly put, so that how this particular thing will able to solve the call centers, uh, you can say, the problem pain points that we have, and how it will help to optimize the efficiency and the productivity in the call center world. Again, coming to the code generation, so as we discussed that, let's say if I'm looking for the certain sample of codes that I can provide the description, I can provide the uh, certain comments, uh, and the code generation part, the GitHub Copilot, the Codex models will able to help you, will able to serve you with the sample of code that you're looking for. And then comes the semantic search. So for example, so when we talked about content generation, summarization, code generation, all these are which uh, these are given to you as a part of model offerings, GPT, Codex, and Delis. The semantic search is, for example, you already have these models, but you want to develop these capabilities on your own data. So let's say I'm running a company in which I already have a uh, uh, data source which is quite big. Now that particular data source is only aligned to me, and I want to make a chat GPT kind of an application on the data which belongs to me. So how can I build enterprise grade application with the help of models which is available in the Azure OpenAI, uh, on the data which I am owning. So that particular things will be taken care by the semantic search and the by the embedding search. But yes, all those, even that particular use case we are going to discuss in the upcoming slides. uh, any questions till this particular point?
Yeah, we do have a couple of questions. I'll just quickly surface it. I think a couple of them you already answered in the chat as well. So, sorry, not in the chat, in the description as well. But I'll still surface it for the rest of us. So, Ameya was asking if Chat GPT-4 is available, then if we use Azure OpenAI, does that mean we are able to use Chat GPT-4 behind the scenes? Or
Yes,
is it?
behind the scenes, when we are using chat GPT, when we are using, so in a nutshell, behind the scenes, whatever you are doing under the hood, it is calling some model. Now depending upon which particular use case that you're trying to solve, so for example, in the case of content, in the case of summarization, in the case of chat GPT, you are using those models. If you are playing with the code part under the hood, you are using codex model. If you are playing with the images under the hood, you are playing with the delay model.
Ameya, I can provide a little more context in this question. So, if your question is whether if you use OpenAI service ChatGPT-4, or if I were to understand correctly, GPT-4 as a model is something that you can use, then yes and no. Yes, in the sense I believe it is a premium service and you probably have to pay to be able to use it because GPT-4 is not openly available right now, right? It's a paid premium service, but it is not going to be open freely for you to just play around and try. You might have to pay for trying it out. So that if that helps, then that is where we stand at least for GPT-4 as a model. For GPT 3.5, as you're well aware, it's used behind the scenes for ChatGPT also, so it's publicly available and you can play with that. But yeah, thank you so much, Dixit, and Amir, feel free to drop a follow-up question. Then we have a question from Red Devil. They ask, does the chat GPT model rely on codex to generate code?
No, so
Again,
chat
I
GPT,
think it, yeah.
it's different. It's different.
Do you want to elaborate? Like basically, I think the question comes from the fact that some people do try to ask chat GPT to generate code. So behind the scenes, are they asking whether like codex is a model which helps in generating them, or is there some other way where chat GPT is learning these things?
So chat GPT 3 and chat GPT 4, in the case of chat GPT 4, or even in the case of chat GPT 3, we have feed those models to even come up with the samples of code, but those are not trained so enough in the case of codex. So when we say let's say in the case of codex, those models are trained on couple of languages, I can say 6 or 7. So in the case of JavaScript, in the case of specifically in the case of Python, C sharp. But in the case of you can say chat gpt 3 and chat gpt 4, all those are not so much well versed as the codex model. I hope I answer your question.
Yeah, I think that was a good answer, but maybe if readable, if you have like, and I'm sorry, I don't know your real name. If you have follow-up questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat. We can definitely pick up in the next break that we do. And there is a very interesting question, one more before we probably jump, because we do have a good amount of content as well. So Shubham Jain is asking, how Azure will ensure that the customer information is not used to train the model? I think that's a great question, and that's a concern for a lot of customers and enterprises. Would you like to explain more on that?
So when we say so first of all, we have the compliances, and we have the agreements in place that we are not going to use the customer data. So that is one of the reasons. So when we say there is an agreement between the you can say the OpenAI and the Microsoft. So that is one of the reasons when we say that those are the public models, and we want to make sure that all those models, when we are training those things, when we are training those data, we are not taking any customer data that we already have it. So that is already given, and that is already there from the security perspective, and we already have those, you can say, audits and the compliance in place, that whatever customer data that we have, we are not going to take that particular data to train the existing models.
Great answer, Dikshit. And Shubham, just to add on to that, right? I think the question that you have asked is the key reason why we promote Azure OpenAI over using something like the whole OpenAI chat GPT, right? Because over there, it's a public data and you are consenting to your data being used to train the model for their future versions. But when you're doing an Azure OpenAI kind of scenario, we have the compliance and we have the agreements to ensure that whatever customer data is coming in, it stays compliant and it's not used for training until and unless you're giving a consent, which in most of the enterprise cases is not the scenario, right? That is the reason why we promote using something which is more secure and reliable, which is Azure OpenAI. But thank you so much for asking that question. I think that was really important to just give that quick glimpse. So we do have some more questions coming in, Dikshit, but maybe we can continue with the presentation and I'll pop them when the next time we take a break.
Sure, sure. So just to give you can say the specific use case example at the very high level, obviously there's a link available, and uh, me and one of my colleague have collaborated to come up with this particular the architecture scenarios, because every day when we are working with the enterprise level customers, they have this particular problem regarding the call center experience. So what we are trying to do is that whatever call recordings that we have, so there is a call in the call center, obviously we can put those call recordings into the Azure blob storage. From the blob storage, we can use the AI services speech to text. So whatever speech recordings that we have as a part of call recordings will be converted to the text format by the AI service, speech to text. Those things, those conversions, those text formats will be stored into the blob storage. There we will run the Azure AI language, which will filter out the users data. For example, the privacy part, the email, the phone numbers, anything which is uh, PI specific. We will filter that particular thing, and then we will pass that particular text, the filtered text, to the Azure OpenAI service to summarize that particular conversations, what has happened by the in between the call, and able to generate reports that can be viewed by the management. So by doing this particular thing, you will be able to generate a good amount of insights, that what is the most problem area when people call, or what is the most you can say uh, 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 concerns raised by the customers to any particular product or any particular service that you are having in hand. Again, coming to the point, again there is a link available. Again, me and one of my colleague have partnered this particular solution to write this particular architecture. You can open this particular link and you will be able to go through in detail. But the overall gist is that if you have the data, if you have your own data, if you are a big company and you want to build uh, uh, the Azure OpenAI services, the capabilities over your own data, uh, what is the proper way, or what is the proper mechanism or the proper workflow you will be able to put Azure OpenAI capabilities over your own data to build the same chat GPT kind of a application to your internal users. That is the overall crux of this particular architecture and this particular pictorial representations. So again,
So,
uh,
Dikshit, over here, are we talking about a rack pattern of sorts? Like, are we expecting some sort of retrieval augmented querying, or are we saying that the model will be trained behind the scenes for whatever kind of search queries that kind of bring up?
exactly. So in the case of Azure OpenAI, we are using the embedding models. The embeddings will create the vector search, and on the user query part, we are using the again the vector query that will match that particular the search part, and what is already there as a part of embedding model. So when that particular match happen, you will be able to return that particular uh, response in a same manner as we are doing in the case of ChatGPT format. So more or less, the embedding model that we have, basically it will provide the similarity what user is asking as a part of query input, and what we have as a part of raw data on which we have run the Azure OpenAI embedding model, by which you will be able to generate the vectorized search, and then search will be compared, and when there is a match, the response will be given to the end user.
Sounds good, yeah.
Sure. Again, just nothing fancy, just the couple of considerations that when you think that what are the considerations that you think that you should go with the Azure OpenAI in comparison to the already existing AI services that we have. So we have discussed already in bits and pieces, and the use cases. So nothing new in that this particular thing. Uh, Moving on, presenting the Azure AI Studio. So let me go back to the demo or the look and feel. So if I go so this particular, so I have already, just to save the time, I have already opened the Azure portal experience. So this is the Azure portal. I can click on this particular home, and under that I have the Azure OpenAI. I can click on Azure OpenAI. So this is the Azure OpenAI services that I have created. Now if you see, those are the so this is the Azure OpenAI services that I have created. So if you click on this Azure OpenAI Studio, this particular link will be available. So you can probably able to play and look feel that how whatever the models that we have discussed regarding the chat, the Delix part, uh, and the codex part, you will be able to play around. So in the portal side, you will have everything. For example, we will talked about RBAC. So this is the access control. So you will be able to provide relevant access. You will have the diagnose and solve problem. So when your application is running in the prod environment, what all things you need to look into when there is an issue in the prod environment. We have the keys available, just to increase the security, so that nobody will able to call your endpoint as a public endpoint. uh, Again, there is a networking aspect. We discuss about the private networking. There is a pricing tier all those particular things are available. uh, when we click on go to Azure OpenAI Studio, this particular link will open. And let's say, for example, let's say if I click on completions part, the summarization parts that we discussed. So I have already deployed the test model. So for example, let's say, so these are the examples that we already have. So for example, let's say I need the summarization of the financial report. So you can say uh, the big financial report that we have, and we want the summary of it. So I can click on generate. Let me let me refresh it. So yes, it has given the summary. So give me one more. So I have used the test deployment. I have used the this one. I click on generate. Ah, so for this particular report, by the using of Azure OpenAI Studio, in the case of the completion playground, I click on this generate, and it has given you the summary. What has as a uh, whatever has given as a part of larger part of the text. Now, when you click on this, it will give you the complete summary or the crisp summary that these are the things, these are the key numbers that we have. Again, when we click on delay part, so I already have this couple of images available. So let's say I don't want this. I can say astronaut. I can say a red flag in hand. I can say click on generate.
I have
It
played
has the
around with Dali a bit. I think it's really interesting if you're trying to create your own avatar because
yeah,
whatever description you give, they kind of like create a pretty accurate image of you.
exactly. So we mentioned the astronaut having red flag in hand. So it has created those. And if you are able to see that, even you will be able to see the code that you have. So we are not going only the pictures, we are also giving you the exact sample, the piece of code which is running at the backend. You will be able to deploy as a part of open REST API call, or probably use it in your own applications. So these are the look and feel. You can probably go for the more on your side and play around with. Coming to the codex part, the GitHub Copilot. So I'm using the Visual Studio Code. In the Visual Studio Code, you need to have we have the extensions available. So when you install the Visual Studio Code, you need to install the GitHub Copilot. That is available as a part of extension. And let's say in this particular, so I have installed the GitHub Copilot. And if you can note down my cursor, this particular, if I click on this particular pictorial representation, it is showing status ready. Now if I click on control I can ask that particular I can provide a description, uh, which will on the basis of that, the GitHub Copilot will give me the code. For example, let's say if I write function, I click on control I, and I write I need a function for finding duplicate number in the array. I click on enter. So then if you think that this is the exact thing that you're looking for, you can click on accept, and this is how it will able to write the complete the sample code or the exact piece of code that you're looking for. So you can very well uh, see that uh, for writing any piece of code. You don't need to Google, you don't need to Bing anything. Just comment in the GitHub Copilot in your preferred editor, and you will be able to increase your productivity multiple times.
So in the example that you just showed,
Mhm.
how is it that it automatically generated JavaScript? Was it because the repo is having JavaScript files?
I so I
If we just call it function.
thank you so much, Rashmi, for having this question. So intentionally, I have as a output, as a sample, I have created the JavaScript file. So if you if
I
you
see.
if
Okay.
you mention, yes, so if you mention it explicitly that you need a Python, and you make a Python file, you will get the output according to the desired response.
Awesome. So it basically analyzes the extension of the file. If it is .py, it automatically generates the function according to what it would be in Python.
Exactly.
Got it. Awesome. This has made the developer's life so much easier. I use it very frequently, and I don't know, like if this is gonna make like our work speed so much faster. I feel like I get a lot of more productive time in terms of like not having to go to Stack Overflow and whatnot. Now everything is like very handy over here.
Very handy. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But this is awesome, Dixit. So do we have any more in the demo, or
Yes.
should I jump to the questions? Yeah.
Just the two more slides, and then probably we can take
Okay.
questions.
Okay. Sounds
The most important part, how to apply for the access for the Azure OpenAI. So uh, you can have this link open, and you need to fill a couple of details, and you will be able to have those access. But yes, it might take some time, but yes, you will be able to have those access when you open this particular links and fill those relevant details. Then the last slide that we have is, we are trying to make the couple of learning guide for the every stage that we have. So for example, if you are starting, if you are at the basic level, if you are at the advanced level, so these are the various guides, various videos, various blogs, various learnings that we have available. Even the couple of MS Learn sessions that we have. So you can probably go through this at your comfort level, at whatever stage that you have, and then probably you can start the journey, or probably take the journey to the next level. Yes, that is all that we have, and now we can probably take the questions.
awesome. Thank you so much, Dikshit. Once again, first of all, like the session has been really interactive. We have seen way too many questions pouring in. So thank you so much for everyone who has enthusiastically participated over the chat. And it also encourages others to learn from your questions, right? So give me a couple minutes because I'm going to scroll up. There are quite a few of them. So starting off with a question from Dhara. Dhara is asking, so semantic search, does it use some model? Which model does it use?
Embedding models, Azure API, Azure OpenAI embedding models.
Okay. Impending, is it? Like, I don't know if I'm getting it right.
Let me, this one,
Okay.
Azure
Embedding
OpenAI
models.
embedding
Okay.
models.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah, that is helpful. Thank you for that, Dhara. I hope that answered your question. Now we have a question from Ajax. Ajax is asking what makes Open Azure OpenAI different to other hyperscalers who will be partnering with OpenAI offering joint solutions.
That is the tough one. Uh, exactly. I can say, because we are working with the OpenAI. We have not started working with the OpenAI from the last 3 or 4 years. I believe this partnership has been built, uh, to my mind, I believe, if I remember correctly, I might be wrong, but this particular partnership is started, I believe, 8 or 9 years back, when we have started this particular research project. So we are not uh, starting fresh with the OpenAI, and we are way ahead, um, with respect to the other hyperscalers that we have. But yes, I can say that, uh, so this partnership is not new, and we are working from the last couple of years. uh, I can say, to the almost a decade ago. So that's how it goes, and I can assure you that, or probably I can not assure is a wrong word, but yes, we can try we can try that whatever offerings we are giving you as a part of Azure OpenAI services will be the best uh, to solve your business cases that you're having on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I agree with you that this is probably a tricky one, especially for us to answer because we are just advocates of Azure OpenAI. But I would highly encourage if you could try out other hyperscalers and let us know if there is something that lacks in Azure OpenAI because we would not want to believe that, right? We were the forerunner, so we do have some amount of lead in terms of how do we want to integrate, where do we want to integrate, and if there is something that definitely seems amiss with our service, I think this is a great opportunity for you to let us know. And I'm sure that you could help in making the product better along with us. Thank you so much for that question, Ajax. I know you have asked a follow up question also regarding if there is any sort of support for guiding or training the teams, but I think you already got the answer with one of the links which we shared for OpenAI Apply. So I'm going to skip that for time reasons. I think there is one more question which was asked by 10x developer asking whether does Azure have free tier with Linux VMs?
Does Azure have?
Free tier with Linux VMs, like Linux you using Linux as VMs. Do we have free tier in Azure?
So we do have Linux VMs, so that is there, but probably I can take that particular questions one on one. So I'm sorry I haven't got it, but yes, as a part of Linux offerings, we do have Linux VMs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 10x developer, I'm also a little lost. Maybe like if this is for a specific service that you're looking for, maybe that can help us answer it better. But overall, yes, we do have Linux VMs and we do have free tier offerings in a couple of them, like for suppose web web apps, I think. Dikshit,
So
maybe you
in
can
in
help
every
over here better.
web apps, AKS, VMs, VM skill set everywhere.
Correct. Correct. But I'm not very sure of the free tier. Like I know Linux is there, but I don't know which
Okay,
all
you're
services offer
okay.
free tier.
Free tier. Okay. I
Yeah.
I I think so. In the case of web apps, we do have it,
Yeah.
but I need to
But
double
yeah,
check. Yes, I need to
yeah,
double
yeah.
check. But
It's better
yeah.
to double check. So yeah, we can definitely get back to you more on this. And right now, please do not take our words for the source of truth because we are taking our best guesses. But this is good. I think there is one more last question, and this is from Gilliam. How do you feed your model with the data set that you have? I think that is something which is going to come up in the upcoming sessions, is it?
And even in the upcoming sessions, obviously that will go deep, but it is I can say more internal to the Microsoft side of the things. But yes, in the subsequent sessions we can go deep into it, and probably you will get some clarity for that particular thing. But yes, it might be the internal things that we are doing on the Microsoft sides.
Okay. GM, please stay tuned. We will be having a couple more sessions, like I mentioned in the starting. So you will get your question answered pretty soon. But meanwhile, we have shared the link in the chat. So you should be able to explore and see if this is something that is uh, your way ahead in terms of adopting OpenAI. So with that, I think we should be good to close the session. So once again, Dikshit, thank you so much for agreeing to participate in this session. I think we have seen way too much participation and enthusiasm. So looking forward to having the next two sessions with you. And also, Rashmita, thank you so much for having the two of us again in this session and looking forward to the next two as always. So thank you once again, day, night, afternoon, whatever time zone you are from, for participating.
Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you, Rashmita, and thanks everyone.
Thank you.